It was a beautiful day in the Bay, April 2015. Wonderful opportunities were on the horizon and life was good. Then that call, the voice of my doctor on the other end saying, "You have cancer." My entire world went black.
Hello, my name is Leah Tysse. I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer from Oakland, California, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October 2015. Well, that's a moment I'll never forget. I was actually at the doctor's office. I had had my very first mammogram and then was called back in for another mammogram because it was the first one. It was irregular. I wasn't thinking much of it, but they actually diagnosed me that same day. I actually do not have a history of breast cancer in my family. That's why it was so shocking for me. My initial reaction was very emotional. I was experiencing sheer terror and despair and panic initially. That just hit me like a ton of bricks. I moved past that pretty quickly, but at first it was all of that. Music and my music community is a huge reason why I was able to move past those initial feelings of terror. I right away started talking to people, and there's an astonishing number of women in the Bay Area music scene who have experienced breast cancer. It's kind of mind-blowing. For me, that was an incredible resource, which I definitely needed. And I'm so grateful for that. I talked to women, many women in the Bay Area, also across the country, most of them in music. And then, of course, music is always food for our souls, just the basic music itself. I don't know how we get through things without music. My advice would be first to take a deep breath and center yourself. Because there's so much inside of you to get you through it. And then when you're ready, start talking to people, because there's so many of us who have gone through it, and everyone has a very unique experience, but they have a wealth of knowledge to help you think about your path and also to comfort you, because so many of us have made it through.
Throughout our lifetime, we will be faced with choices. and some will never choose to move forward out of fear. Fear will keep you paralyzed without the benefit of knowing what is or what could be. Take action.
Hello, my name is Tamara Edwards, better known as Authentically Tam E, from the Bay Area. I am a singer, songwriter, teacher, preacher, lover of Christ, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer March 20th, 2020. I discovered the breast cancer by just sitting down one day and going like this. And I felt something that seemed to be like a piece of rice up under my skin. And I kind of talked myself out of it and ignored it. Went to lunch with my mother a couple of days after that, allowed my mother to feel it. And when my mother touched it and kind of jerked back, that's when I knew that, okay, I can't ignore this anymore. In realizing that I could no longer ignore this feeling that I had or this discovery, I followed the steps, called the hospital, ended up having to get a biopsy. That biopsy led to a yes, you do have breast cancer, stage 1. That led to a team of people, my new family that came into my life, and I had this whirlwind of treatment, chemo. One chemo was for a year, one was for 3 months, and then radiation, surgeries. I walked around lopsided for a long time with one breast that was small where they removed the cancer and one big old long breast until they did both of them. In all of this, my lowest point, I believe, came when I got angry. I was like, God, you have to be kidding me. I told you that I did not want breast cancer. That's why I stopped eating meat. Been pescatarian for 16 years, changed my deodorant, tried to do things differently because I told him, you know, I have a small child. So when I received the diagnosis and was actually walking through the treatment, I felt like God had tricked me. And I was so angry that I screamed. Not just like, hey, but I was in my bed and I just started screaming to the top of my lungs. Like, I don't understand this. And in that, he gave me this peace. Listen, I can't explain the peace, but after I screamed, it's like I screamed and called all of the angels attached to my life. And they came around my bed and my room and let me know that it's going to be okay because it was a part of a journey, specifically for me because I didn't trust God. And he was showing me through this gift of cancer how to trust him. Music played a big part in my healing. Because after chemo, you know, you come home, you're wiped out, you're tired. I would eat my special meal. I always had French fries and a fried egg. So I would eat that, then I would go to sleep, wake back up, trying to figure out where I was. Am I going to die? When am I going to die? Just trying to figure out all of these like gamut of emotions. And so I discovered this app. and it was a singing app where it allowed you to sing to other people's downloaded beats. And so I would just pull beats and put gospel music to it, and I would harmonize with myself. Ooh, that just gave me life, okay? And so that's what I did most of the time. Laid in bed and harmonized myself until I felt better, and it was a good thing, okay? So listen, if by chance you get a diagnosis of cancer, let me just suggest to you to first settle yourself, right? Because God is in control. I know that we hear this all the time. God is in control and blase, blase, but honey, he really is. So settle yourself in that and then ask him, okay, what are we doing? Listen, he taught me how to walk through the process and learn how to trust him so that I can tell you right now that you can trust him. Realize that cancer has not attacked your livelihood. It hasn't attacked your future or your gifting or even your plans that God has in his will for you. It only has attacked your body. Not your excitement, not your freedom, not your love for chocolate, not your beautiful, the thing that you love in your children. It has only attacked your body. And God created your body and he can heal your body. And so be encouraged and know that it is not a death sentence. And if by chance it is, honey, as long as you have eternal life, as long as you've accepted him in your heart, you're going to be all right either way, on this side or that side. Honey, so let's live it up. It's nothing.
Shed at Calvary, it was the blood shed just for you and me. It was the... I believe there are many things that contribute to the alarming rate of all forms of cancers being diagnosed. The chemicals in our food, genetics, stress, unforgiveness, and things we may not even be aware of. Cancer statistics have proven that no one is exempt.
Well, I'm here to tell you there's hope. I'm here to remind you there's happiness and joy. It's on the other side of yes. It was on my heart today to write a song for the hopeless. Ones who lost and given up, have no more fight in them.
My name is Ashlin Cole. I am a singer, songwriter, author, producer, worshiper. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer on July of 2018. So it's interesting. I wasn't feeling well, and I had just gone through losing all this weight. I was vegan. I had a personal trainer. I felt like I was in the shape and the health of my life. And I just felt that something wasn't right. And for some reason, I didn't let it go. I didn't ignore it. And I went to my doctor right away and had no idea that it was going to start the process of a diagnosis with breast cancer. My mother actually passed away from breast cancer in 2015. And when she was diagnosed, I went and got the genetic testing and everything came back negative. And so I thought I was in the clear. So the regular testing and mammograms and all that stuff, I was only 40 years old. So at that point, it wasn't even mandatory. So the fact that I ended up feeling something, without a mammogram, and just somehow knowing that something wasn't right. I'm so grateful because I believe in testing. I believe in mammograms. I believe in knowing your body and knowing so that you know when something's not right. So when I went to see the doctor for my diagnosis, I mean, we kind of know the process. They call you, they tell you to come in. And they had told me over the phone that I had breast cancer, but I didn't know the details. So I came in and my doctor went through the diagnosis. She said it's triple negative. And in my mind, negative was actually a good thing. It was a positive thing. And she said, no, this is one of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer that you can get. So I immediately asked about a mastectomy. And they recommended that I go through chemo and radiation and all that stuff. And I actually went through chemo, skipped radiation, and opted for a double mastectomy. That wasn't recommended, but I decided because my mother had died from breast cancer, I wasn't going to take any chances, especially when they said this was the most aggressive form of breast cancer. If it was going to fight me, I was going to fight it right back. No matter what I've gone through in my life, music has always gotten me through. I don't care if it's a marriage, a divorce, sickness, health, highs, lows, it doesn't matter. Music has always gotten me through. So right away, in fact, it was the weekend of the Art and Soul Festival in Oakland that I found out about my diagnosis, and I went to the festival. I could have stayed home and been on the couch and ate bonbons, but I was like, I need to get around my people. I need to get around my music, and that's what I did. They had no idea what was going on, but yet and still, God in his infinite wisdom pulled me onto stage, and so I could deliver this song from a place that was so broken and so unknowing and uncertain of the future. But it was music that every day got me through. So if there's any advice that I could give any woman that is finding herself in this situation with a breast cancer scare or a breast cancer diagnosis, there's a few things. One, ask all the questions that you can. When you go to your appointments, take someone with you. There's this thing called breast cancer fog. It's not a scientific thing, but I'm telling you, it happens because all of a sudden, all that you thought could be isn't. And all that you thought couldn't be is. So take a friend with you and ask all the questions. And above all, get tested ahead of time. Learn what the preventative measures are. Learn how to test yourself, check yourself. Don't be afraid to get in there and learn your own body. Cancer is all around us. We cannot be in denial anymore. So do yourself and your friends and your family, the people that care about you, do them a favor. Learn your body so that when something is not right, you know, and then you know exactly what to do.
Trusted is gone. Well, I'm here to tell you there's hope. I'm here to remind you there's happiness and joy. It's on the other side of yes. It was on my heart today.
Four women who share four common threads: music, resilience, breast cancer, and survivor. You've heard from three, and I am the fourth.
It takes a brave soul to heal the pain.
Anybody can get breast cancer. I'm Nona Brown. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and here's my story. Wow. I remember that day just like it was yesterday, the day of surgery. I remember getting up that morning and just kind of being in a fog, realizing that this was going to be the last day that I would have my breast, and not knowing what life was going to be like for myself. I remember getting up that morning, bathing my entire body with this special soap that they asked me to use, driving to the hospital, my family there gathered around my bedside, and they prayed what we call the prayer of faith. And although I believed that ultimately I would be okay, I was terrified of the process.
A warrior to fight again and again.
Although I was terrified by the process that I had no idea what it was going to entail, it amazes me today that it was through that process I was able to begin to find courage and talk to other women and share my story. And it was at that time that I felt like I had purpose. I had a responsibility to share this journey, to share information, and to ensure that other women who may find themselves in my shoes would have information and that they would find courage to fight.
Great courage to believe what you can't see.
I've always loved music. And during my journey, music was the very thing that infused me with strength to fight. It became more powerful than it had ever been in my life. Whether I was performing it, composing it, or just listening to it, it became the strength that I needed to get through this process.
A miracle, it's true, and it's alive inside of you.
No matter where you are in your journey or how bad your prognosis may be, the true miracle is how you choose to respond with your fight, with your courage, with your will to live. And that is the sound of survivors.
I know this road, I've traveled it before. It took a miracle. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. You are that miracle. Yes, it's true. And that miracle is you.